Joe Biden was asked some months ago about Hunter Biden's corruption. We got some big news on Hunter Biden's corruption yesterday. Joe Biden was asked some months ago about his son Hunter, because don't forget, it's not just about having a bad son who makes some bad deals. The son was trading on the father's influence when the father was point man on the issues that Hunter Biden was cashing in on, when the father was the vice president. So it's not just Hunter Biden's corruption, it's Joe Biden's corruption as well. What's Joe's answer? He doesn't have one.
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board, and that was it. And there's nobody...
Well, you've had a lot of time. Isn't this something you want to get to the bottom of?
No, because I trust my son.
But that doesn't pass the smell test. Like, when you're vice president, isn't there a higher standard? Don't you need to know what's happening with your family? Don't you need to put down some guardrails?
Unless there was something that was... there was something on its face that was wrong. There's nothing on its face that was wrong. So look, if you want to talk about problems, let's talk about Trump's family.
If you want to talk about problems, please don't ask me about my son who was obviously trading my influence for lots of money. He said there's nothing wrong on its face. Okay, so I don't want to, I trust my son. Well, turns out there is something wrong on its face. There's a lot wrong on its face, and he shouldn't have trusted his son. We found out why Joe Biden kept deflecting. His ridiculous answer that he had no idea what Hunter Biden was up to. First of all, Hunter Biden admitted that his father knew what he was up to, so eventually then Joe Biden had to change his tune and say, yeah, I knew, but it wasn't a big deal. So according to this Senate report on Hunter Biden allegedly sent thousands of dollars to people who were involved in sex trafficking. This according to Wednesday's report by Senate Republicans. The report claims unspecified records show that Biden sent funds to non-resident alien women in the U.S. who are citizens of Russia and Ukraine, who subsequently then wired funds that they received from Hunter Biden to individuals located in Russia and Ukraine. Now, people are making a big deal out of this because sex trafficking is in the news because of, Jeffrey Epstein and all this other crazy stuff that involves a lot of Democrats. That's not the most damning thing. I mean, it's damning in the sense that it's very bad, but it's something we already knew about Hunter Biden, which is the guy who went to strip clubs and hookers and he did that sort of thing. So that, you hear it as he was participating in the sex trafficking ring. Really what happened is he just sent thousands of dollars to Russian hookers. That's nothing we didn't know. Okay, that was not bombshell stuff. But there is some bombshell stuff involving Russia. You follow the Russia trail, get past the hookers, get into the much more serious corruption. Hunter Biden received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Alina Bachurina, the richest woman in Russia, the widow of Yuri Luzkov, former mayor of Moscow. This is according to the Senate Republicans' report. Bachurina is mentioned in this 87-page report, and it addresses this payment to Biden, which occurred in 2014, while his father, Joe Biden, was vice president. What we're seeing again and again is more evidence of a typical Democrat strategy, which is accuse your opponent of your own corruption, accuse your opponent of your own vices, accuse your opponent of your own crimes. How long did we hear about the Russia hoax? Trump colluding with Russia. We now have proof. We now have proof positive that Democrats were the ones colluding with Russia, which we should have known about because they've been pro-Russia for 100 years. They've been defending Russia for 100 years. During Stalin's reign, they were defending Russia. At the beginning of the Obama administration, they wanted a reset with Russia. Barack Obama promised Medvedev, he said, tell Putin that I'm going to be more flexible after my election. I've got to lie to the American people in the meantime, but I'm going to be really soft on him after my election in 2012. Of course, they're soft. They're always soft on Russia. And now we see that Hunter Biden receives millions and millions of dollars from the richest woman in Russia while his father is vice president. Why do you get that money? Why do you get that money? I don't know. But I know for a fact that the Democrats had to deflect by accusing Trump of crimes that he never committed. Turns out they did commit them. It's the same thing with the peaceful transfer of power. Mr. President, why won't you commit to the peaceful transfer of power? Because you won't. Not even that you won't commit to the peaceful transfer of power. You're promising me you won't transfer power. Hillary Clinton said explicitly, Joe Biden should not concede under any circumstances. Doesn't matter if there's a Trump landslide, don't concede. The Democrats are funding rioters in the streets. And where they're not funding their actual equipment, they're funding their positive press coverage. They're funding their propaganda arm. which might be called CNN. That's what's going on. Peaceful transfer of power? I don't think so. We are now at the stage where anything the Democrats accuse this president of, I have got to assume they are committing themselves. I hope you enjoyed this segment of the Michael Knowles Show, because you should know that on September 28th, it will be moving from the Daily Wire YouTube channel to be available exclusively on my YouTube channel, The Michael Knowles Show. You can get a link to that in the description below. Obviously, there's still going to be a lot of great stuff on the Daily Wire channel. We want to make a little bit more room for those kind of things. We got a lot of fun new stuff coming on the Michael Knowles Show channel as well. So ring the bell. Make sure you never miss out on a new video.